Hello, everyone. Welcome to our virtual meeting. I'm Divya Kumari, working with Entrepreneurs Equal, who is a leading organization in the mission to boost the success of startups and enhance ecosystem performance globally. Since inception, it has provided advisory services in over 22 countries across 6 continents, establishing itself as a trusted partner in entrepreneurship. We specialize in strategic consultation, educational and capacity building services, mentorship and networking programs, and entrepreneurial skills training for diverse institutions, including schools, NGOs, universities, and associations. Today, we all have joined us in Entrepreneurs Equal Skill Development Journalism, which is a 16-week hands-on training course offering an immersive experience with our guest speakers from the industry, practical assignments, and real-world insights. It is an excellent opportunity to enhance your journalistic abilities to network with professionals across the globe. Today, in our EESD journalism webinar titled Investigative Reporting, we have with us Ms. Liubov Velychko. I hope I pronounced it right. So, she's a researcher of disinformation, foreign special correspondent, 15 plus years of experience in investigative journalism, including cross-borders investigation, featured in top Ukrainian and international media outlets. She has worked with foreign colleagues on issues such as money laundering, high-ranking corruption, and special information operations of foreign intelligence services. Over the past 3 years, she has been working as a mentor for regional journalists from Ukraine and conducting trainings for students and journalists on topics such as undercover work, open source intelligence methods, and journalistic safety. A very warm welcome, ma'am. We are eager to hear your insights.
Hello to everyone. I'm very pleased to be with you today. First of all, I would ask you kindly, very kindly, to show yourself just for a few seconds because I have 2 questions for you to ask and I want you to raise your hands to understand the situation, if you will be so kind to me. Switch on your video, please, just for a few seconds. Or, okay, I will take it easier. The first question to you is, hello, Samran, thank you. First question to you is, who of you all are journalists? Raise your hands. Okay, none of journalists. Okay, then my second question I will not ask because my second question was about who already did. Mahan is a journalist, great. My second question was about who of you already did investigative journalists, like investigations. Actually, in Ukraine, only 3% of journalists are doing investigations. This is a very, very small amount. I don't know the situation in your countries, but I think it's like plus minus the same. And for me, as an investigative journalist with a big experience, it's very sad statistics because as for me, investigative journalism is a very exciting profession, which gives you a feeling of being Indiana Jones, being in the center of different processes and knowing many so interesting people and having the opportunity to talk to them. It's a very interesting experience. And to be in the coat of a detective also, as for me, it's very interesting. Being an investigative journalist, you live a very, very exciting life. So right now, I will share my screen because I made a presentation for you. And I will start from the definition, just to be on the same way with you. Do you see my screen? Yes?
Yes.
It's fine. Great. So this first slide illustrates one of reasons why people don't want to be investigative journalists, because it's a really risky profession. Very interesting, but really risky. And my mom also was telling me when I was going to be a student of Institute of Journalism that think twice or even think 10 times before going choosing this profession because it's very dangerous. But I didn't care about this. I don't don't afraid to investigate any topics. That is why I'm continuing to dig and dig and dig deeper and deeper in the ground. And no matter that I had lots of threats and situations during my career were very horrible. I don't want to count it, but believe me, I saw a lot. And but still, pluses of this profession gives me inspiration to continue. And I do hope that after our session, I also will give you some inspiration to try yourself as investigative journalist. No matter that it's not so easy, but I promise you it is very interesting. So let's start. What is investigative journalist according to the definition? It's a type of journalist where a journalist uncovers hidden or little known facts, particularly about corruption, crimes, stuff like this. So investigative journalist has a job if in the air we have a question without answer, which is very important for society. And the goal of investigative journalists is to give the answer to the audience, to explain what is really going on and who is fault, whose fault is it that it's happening. So journalists gathering evidences, he is analyzing everything he found and presenting what he found to the public. Actually, journalists and detectives have very much in common, but of course, detectives, they don't publish what they found it as journalists. So during our session, this is like a very, very brief explanation what we will be talking about during the session, about the investigation process. So first, we will talk about how to find the topic, then how to propose a hypothesis for further testing of this topic, then how to search information using OSINT, then how to find your own human resources, which also will help you and give you information how to talk with those resources. Then we will talk about how to structure the data and create a material, to write a material. And then we will talk about fact-checking and publishing the material. On this picture, you also see the guy who is, for me, really does very much the same that investigative journalist does. Because to find a very interesting information, you need to be very patient. And that is why most of investigative journalists, they are not super extrovert people, they are introverts. They like to be alone together to analyze documents. It's not boring for them, it's interesting for them. But to find the very unique and interesting information, you really need to see and to gather a lot of information that is trash, you know. And if you are not patient, then you will not properly read all this trash unless you will find the diamond that is really answers the question that you put to yourself in the beginning of the investigation. So to be an investigative journalist, you really need to be very patient, and you need to know that to make investigations, sometimes you need to spend months and even years. For example, one of my cross-border investigation about money laundering took me 1.5 years. And of course, that was not the only one investigation I made during that period. But to gather all evidences, I was needed to gather a lot of information from open resources, from experts. I made expertises. I was working on the ground, talking to people. And the process of fact-checking also took 2 months. And not all people, not all journalists are patient as much to wait until from the idea to the publishing, it takes 1.5 years. But from the other hand, one of my record is of making investigation is 5 days from the idea until publishing. But during those 5 days, I almost didn't sleep. I was working on a high adrenaline. It was needed to make it very, very fast, because if it was making longer, then it was not the actual anymore. So there are different types of investigations. Some of them you really need to work on many, many months, and some of them, if you really, really know how to work, you can do it even faster. If we will start from the topic, how to find the topic of investigation and to understand that it is important topic. Let's try to look on the example of holes on the road. Yes, it's a very wide topic. So if we know that there are holes on the road, first of all, we need to somebody wrote you a message in Facebook. Listen, you know, in our village we have many holes on the road, and this road was made only 1 year ago. It is very strange that this road is in a very bad condition. And so, of course, it depends on which media I work in a local small media like in town newspaper or in international level. You will ask yourself, is it important to dig into this topic deeper? So first of all, you will ask questions like, how many people are affected by this influence? So how many people living in this village on which we have those holes on the road? 10 people, 100 people, 10,000 people, and how many and how strong is the influence? It means how many holes are there on the road? It is only one hole, which is not a topic, I think. Or there are thousands of holes on the road which was made only 1 year ago. Then we ask ourselves, could their suffering have been avoided? Like those people are right now struggling because they have very horrible road, but was there a chance that that road was made very good? Like maybe you need to see that the company that made this road was not very professional, or this company has connections with the mayor, and that is why it got the money from the budget of the community. You need to ask many questions to understand if another company was making the road, this situation would be the same or not. And of course, you need to ask other guilty parties who should be punished for that. That road is in a very bad condition. So, of course, if the company made it, it's understandable that it needs to be or judged or put the money back to the budget. Or if the mayor was working with the scheme, this corruptional scheme, he also maybe he needs to be in prison for that if he stole a lot of money. And so if you will answer all those questions, you ask these questions to yourself. First of all, you will understand, does this topic worth to investigate? Because if us answering those questions, we understood that only 2 holes are on the road, that I don't think it is worth to investigate it. To spend a lot of resources, your time, and money of your newspaper for it. But if you see that there is a huge amount of those holes, and because of that holes, for example, doctors cannot come to patients because of accidents, you understand that like thousands of people are struggling, and you see that this company was already, maybe you know this company and it has very bad reputation. You understand that there is, you need to dig deeper. You need to make this investigation. After finding a topic, you move to the step 2. Step 2 is to find a hypothesis of your investigation. Hypothesis answers the question why it happens. So the topics answers the question, something wrong happens, and who is guilty in it. And hypothesis answers the question why it is going on. So you need to think about it and to make 2 types of hypotheses. One of which needs to be minimum, like minimum of evidence you need to find together to make the story and to make it worth to publish. And the maximum maximum evidences that really makes your story huge and scandalous, and you will become a superstar in investigative journalism. So if we take the topic of roads, the minimum can be, for example, that the company stole money during making the road. And the maximum is, for example, that the company's director who stole the money during making the road is a lover of a mayor of the city, which sounds more scandalous. So, but anyway, this minimum and maximum, you need also to show it to your editor while you will be pitching your story. Because if you will pitch only maximum story, your editor will be confused, and with my experience, I know that he will fight with you saying, oh, if you will not find out that the mayor and the director of the company are lovers, what will be next? We will spend money on this investigation and it will not be published. But no, you have plan B, you have minimum plan, and it is also enough to be published. So let's see what we will do after we make a hypothesis. I'll give you a more funny example about cats. So we have, on the beginning, you as an investigative journalist mentioned that there are less and less dogs in the parks of your native city. And instead of that, you see that more and more cafes for cats opened during the last few months. And you are thinking, what is going on? Something strange is happening. It's all of course, a fun example, okay? I'm not saying that you need to make such investigations. So your hypothesis sounds like this. A secret cat club in the city is influencing local council decisions, forcing them to ban dog parks and replace them with 3 cafes for cats. And so if you have this hypothesis, during your investigation, you need to do plenty of things. So you need to find such clubs. You need to understand who was involved in making those clubs, cat clubs, and to the scheme, and what consequences this has for dogs and their owners. And the investigation could include also interviews with cats and poor dogs. But how to find the information during the investigation? And I would recommend you to start from OCCRP. This sounds very simple, but you know what? Many investigative journalists, they are trying to find secrets on the beginning, like ignoring OCCRP methods, thinking that, oh, if the information is in open public sphere, that is not a secret, that is not important. No, I need to find some like undercover documents, I don't know where, and it makes him trouble, while a very good professional investigative journalist will not ignore OCCRP, because he knows that even special agencies use OCCRP and saying that OCCRP gives them 80% of the information they have. 80%, not 18%. And this statistics shows that OCCRP is a really strong method of gathering information. And on the beginning of your investigation, you need to find evidences which will confirm your hypothesis. And the things that you can find, you can find in plenty of resources, starting from the mass media, which publish a lot of information to understand the background, what is going on, who does what, the timelines of what is going on. You can monitor social networks, and if you're really good in it, if you can, you know methods how to search information in social networks, we will talk about it later, you will find a huge amount of information about this. Even people who are working in the very secret government institutions sometimes make stupid things and publish photos that they shouldn't publish if where they were thinking about that journalists can find it, especially if we are talking about people who are involved in corruption and they, for example, got illegal money and they publish photos how they bought Rolex or expensive cars or stuff like this. All this you can find in social media of this person or his friends or his wife or his relatives. This is all very, very easily to find if you really know some tips how to search in it. Also, there are plenty of open registers in all countries around the world, even in the in the dictatorship countries, where you also can find a huge amount of information for which is there for many, many years. So you just need to go to the list of registers to be shocked, first of all, about the amount of those registers, and just to work sitting on in your by your computer and searching information there. I working with the money laundering topic use registers as one of the most important places where I can get information, official information and documents. And sometimes information from those documents are really scandalous after it is publishing. Although it's open, you don't even need to pay for this document. You just need to search. You just need to understand what are you searching for, what companies or names you're interested in. And so you will open in very new and interesting information that may be scandalous and about which no one wrote before. Also, there are plenty of information on official websites of government agencies and international organizations and NGOs and even usual websites of companies. Also using the tips of searching web pages who were deleted before you starting to search it. You will find those pages and you can compare, for example, what kind of information company decided to hide after some happened. For example, when I was investigating the topic why foreigners still working on the top positions of the biggest Russian companies, I saw then on some Russian companies' websites information about those international top managers disappeared after the beginning of full-scale Russian invasion in Ukraine. Of course, this information was disappeared because it was a shame, and it is a shame to work being a foreigner on a huge Russian companies, and this also is a little detail for the story that shows that what does the companies try to do to hide how they work and to hide connections with foreigners while they're working after the scandalous situation as a war. Also, if you're still very patient, you can search into, you can read financial reports of companies. They're also usually open. You just need to go to the website and to find the column annual reports, and you will find plenty of information about the amount of money the company gathered during the year, the names of projects they were involved, names of people who are involved or in those projects. Using financial reports, for example, I made an investigation about oil and gas companies and how they're influencing on the government's decision about climate change. And I was also shocked about how easily it was to find that financial reports and how they're openly showing how much money do they give to concrete people in government for lobbying the decisions which oil and gas companies are interested in. Because before that, I thought that the information about, like, as for me, lobbying is very close to corruption because it's influence on the government. Lobbying was a very hidden process, but no, it's a very public information. You just need to go to the website and to Google it. So if during the OSINT, using OSINT methods, you find evidences that your hypothesis you made has sense, you need to move on and to go to step 2. Yes, I need to show you 2 very useful websites which you can use to find instruments for OSINT research. First one is the Bellingcat's online investigating toolkit. Right now, I can go online on it to show you. It's a huge database in which you can find plenty of resources, how to find different types of information. For example, how to find images and video verification. You can see my screen, yes? Yes? Yes, great. You can see here a lot, how to search a video in YouTube, how to, for example, search in social media. There are plenty of instruments for it. You just need to go here and to experiment. You see how long is this list? How to search people, yes, using different tips. This is Bellingcat. I love this base. I use it almost every time I make investigations. And also, you can go to the website of Global Investigative Journalism Network on the page Resource Center. And here you can choose topic which you are interested in. For example, organized crime. And here you can see, just a second, yes. And here you can see webinars which you can watch for free, and which tells you how to search the information step by step. So it's very useful instruments, and it's all for free. You don't need to pay for it. Let's go back. After your OSINT research, you need to talk to people. In my perfect introvert world, I would like to stop on OSINT and not to go outside of my house, but I need to, as a good journalist, you need to involve people into your research, because they will really help you to make a better, really good investigation. Without experts, you will not see some things only experts can show you, because they are all in this topic for many years, and they really understand what is going on and how and where to search that or another type of information. So on the beginning, how to find the experts you need. Names of experts you will find 100% during your OSINT research, because those experts, they are giving interviews in media, they are publishing a lot of stuff in the social media, in the social, the Facebook, in Instagram, in YouTube. They also may have like their channels where they share information, they're analyzing something. Also, you will find their names in the reports, and analytical reports and financial reports that you will find, for example, on the websites of some companies. So you just need to make a list of those experts and to contact them. The easiest thing is to contact them, for example, via LinkedIn or via other social networks if they are present there. So you are contacting them, explaining that you are making a very important investigation, and that you need them to help you to understand what is going on around. Usually, those experts agree. On my practice, on like more than 80% of my requests, they are answering positively. Sometimes they're ignoring because, I don't know, maybe they are too busy or they are afraid of me, I don't know. But usually it's not that hard to find those experts. And if you will talk to them, you need to ask them where do they get the information? Like the list of also some resources or registers that you didn't hear before because they are not very public or they are not very popular among like average people. And they will give you the names of the sources and you can dig there. And so you will make a deeper research. For example, if you're investigating some company, you can find people by starting like seeing a name of a person in the financial report. Then you're contacting this person saying that I need your official position. You're taking an interview with this person, and during the interview, you're mentioning also the most important things you find, and then you go to people who are like enemies of these companies and saying that, listen, the other companies experts says this and this. Can you also say what do you think about this situation? Usually enemies, they are very happy to give you extra information about the company you are interested in. And of course, that information will be not that white and rosy as your first speaker from the official company told you. And so this is also like a game in which you are like a director needs to understand which step after another, which steps you need to do to gather information from people. So also you can monitor media and find people who stopped working in that companies and ask those people also to talk to you and to explain some things you're interested in. And also usually those people have many contacts with people who are still working in company and can talk to you, not maybe officially, but still more honestly than the official representative person who we're talking on the beginning. So just a second. I cannot back. Yes. Usually there are only two reasons to talk with a journalist. It is one of them is a pride, another one reason is pain. But anyway, if somebody talks to you, this person needs to trust you, first of all. That is why journalists needs to have that positive reputation, like in open resources, and to be trusted on the beginning. If a person will Google your name and will see that you made already very good investigations and there are no like negative news about you, that you are like a fake journalist or you're working just for somebody's money. If you have a good reputation, it's a big plus for you. And of course, as a person, you also, while contacting with someone, you need to show the respect and to explain step by step how will you communicate, and to explain that everything that will be told by the expert, it's some information, if this expert says yes, will be published, and some information, if this expert says no, will not be published. So you need to explain everything, because if person doesn't understand how you will behave after this conversation, that will block him, and your conversation will not be that high quality it may be. So what does I mean when I say that pride is a reason of talking to a journalist? Of course, here we're talking about experts who and people who are very good in expertise of something, or they did something super cool. For example, it's a scientist who made some very cool things in his sphere, and you want to talk with this science, starting the conversation about how great he is and his job, and explaining that your expertise is very important for me. I can trust you because you're very well known scientist, and I do believe that together we will make a very good job, because you will help me and I will make a very high quality investigation. And so if person is also is on the public very often. If you see the name of this expert in media, it means that he is very open also to the conversation. And this is actually the easiest way to understand that from these people you can start. And it's not, and usually when you start from those people, you also during the conversation may ask, who else you can recommend for me to talk to, because I want to gather more interesting opinions on the situation. And usually those experts can give you very unique contacts. They are not very public, and they are not very well known, but in this expert sphere, those people have very are really can give a really very good information. I'm not talking too fast, I hope. Yeah. Okay. So, and the second reason to talk to you is if this person struggles. Usually those people are very mad and they want justice to come. That is why they will be very, very happy to talk with you and to help this justice to come faster. So usually, of course, those are people who are victims in the sphere, in the topic you are investigating. For example, if we are talking about the road, which we are talking on the beginning, those will be not only people who live in the village with this bad road, but also maybe some people who were involved in the process, but they are not decision makers. They are just doing what they were told to do. For example, those are people who are working in the company who made this bad road, and they heard something about what was going on during the process of building. And talking with these people, you will get like insights from the situation. Of course, with those people who are struggling, sometimes they ask you not to publish their names openly because they're afraid. They're afraid, for example, that that mayor will make some decisions which will have impact into the family of this person. You know, different situation may happen. And so you need to be very accurate, and also to if you promise not to publish the name, you cannot publish the name, because you need to be a journalist with a good reputation and people need to trust you. If you will say lies once even, that person may publicly claim you in it, and it will have negative influence on your reputation, even once if you do this. So that is why you really need to be very accurate and to think twice what to publish and not, and what names and not publishing. But to your readers, you also need to explain that if you not publish the name and surname of your hero or expert, you need to explain why you don't do this, because it also builds trust between you and your readers. So during interviewing experts, you may choose one of two strategies of talking. One of the strategies is being an expert. It's so-called expert strategy, and another one, simple-minded, as if you ever seen a serial Columbo about a detective who seemed to be very, like, not very smart, wearing very simple clothes, but he's a brilliant detective who knows how to investigate. So in the first, if you are choosing the expert strategy, it means that you need to make a research about the topic very well, to show to the person whom you are talking to that you are very good in this topic already, and that will make your interviewer respect you more, because it's always a very big joy for an expert to talk with somebody who understands how important is this topic. And usually journalists, they are not very well oriented in the different topics because it's impossible to know everything in the world, let's be honest. So that is why journalists usually ask stupid questions, and experts don't like it, you know. And when they meet a journalist who really good comparing to their colleagues and knows how to talk, he will give you maybe even more details because he wants to show you, of course, that he is a super cool expert, and he wants to shine as bright as possible. And another type of strategy is a Colombo style, simple-minded. It's when a journalist don't try to show himself very good in this topic, and he asks any questions it is possible to ask in frames of the topic, explaining that I'm sorry, I'm not very good in this topic. Please help me, because without you I will drown in this information. I want to make a great investigation, so please help two stupid journalists to understand what is going on, you know. And as for me, I like to use the Colombo style, and sometimes in the end of the interview switch to an expert expert style, especially if I'm talking to people who are involved in the corruption scheme, like bad people. If I'm showing on the beginning that I'm not very good oriented, it relaxes my anti-heroes, and so they're not so much controlling what they're saying. They're thinking, oh, she will not mention if I will say something like more than I hope to say. And when they are super totally relaxed, then I'm starting to ask the very important questions I really needed to ask. And because those people are already in this emotional feeling that they are relaxed, they are not calculating what word they will use during the next 5 seconds, they are saying more than they were going to say. So also, of course, after talking to all experts and gathering information in registers and all open like OSIN, using OSIN methods, you can also use other methods of investigative journalism as a request for information. For example, when you're asking questions to like to government, to companies, to everyone, like you're asking for requests, you are asking questions that you are interested in, and usually according to the laws of like all countries in the world, there are plenty of information that you have right to have without no regrets. That can be information of any kind, starting from the declarations, if they are not public, or contracts with companies where budget that was spent, or some information about how like some government institution works, like what salary those or another government guy has. Also, you can ask questions via letters to all the heroes, like NGOs, like it can be different statuses, and NGOs and companies and everyone. So journalists needs to know how to make questions, and using those letters, those requests for information, you also can gather a lot of information. Also, you can use a method of experiment. This is one of my favorite one, because it's always very funny to do something different and to see what will be. During my career, I did a lot of experiments, and during the investigations, and which were as for me simple and not simple. Example from a simple investigation, as for me, is when one company who Glovo, who works around the world, maybe you know this company. This company delivers everything, like delivers food and stuff like this. And it was interesting during the pandemic to see how it is to work as a courier and how much money you can get, really, because that information was not public, because according to the contract which employer was citing, if you are telling them details about working in this company, they will you need to pay like $20,000 for it. So that is why it was very interesting to make a report about how it is to work there and how much money you can get. So for a few days I was working as a courier, and for me it was very unusual experience. It was the first time in my life, but during only a few days I met another couriers, and I gathered a lot of very interesting funny details during this work, and this report was one of very well read it in on our websites, gathered like more than 100,000 views. No matter that the topic is very simple, as for me, I made it just like for 2 weeks, but make an experiment, you can get the information that it is impossible to get in another way. Also, you can use a method of observing when you just need to see what is going on. One of the very simple examples is when journalists, for example, are sitting in the cafe next to the parliament, and during the day watches who comes into this cafe, I mean people's deputies, and with whom they are meeting. With whom we are meeting, we mean like very scandalous people. And if during the day you see like that the people's deputies meeting, for example, some corruptioners or people from the crime system, you can fix it on the photo. You can make audio. Once I made the audio also sitting in the cafe next to the people who were discussing corruption scheme. I made audio, and also I made a video, and it also became very scandalous. So after you gathered all information, you need to make a control interview. Control interview means the interview with the main anti-hero of your story, the person who you are blaming in doing something bad. You need to talk to him anyway, via telephone or meeting him. That might be perfect, but usually they are not they don't want to meet usually. Sometimes they meet you, but not often. So you can meet that person and ask all the questions that you have after you gather the information, giving them the chance to respond on all the negative things that were told about this person during your research. And if this person doesn't want to meet with you, you can send an email to him via like on email or on telephone number, and you need to do everything to give the person to respond. If you don't do this, that says that you are not objective journalist, and you're not. Because sometimes during this control interview, people give you explanations which really shows that on some positions this person was not guilty that much that you thought on the beginning. Once I had the example when I had control interview, basically about during the investigation about stealing on roads, and only because this person gave me this control interview, I saw that situation was not that bad that I thought it would be. So from the maximum hypothesis, I went to minimum hypothesis. And it was okay from the perspective of my editor. Of course, that investigation was not that scandalous. I hoped it to be according to my maximum hypothesis. But still, even with minimum hypothesis, it was published. I will switch on the light in my room just a second, okay? And come back. Hello again. So what is the most painful for journalists is if you see that your hypothesis doesn't work, everything is more or less good, and so you need to kill your story. No matter how much time did you spend on the gathering information, how you wanted to make this great story, if we don't have the enough evidences, like minimum, even to prove our minimum hypothesis, you cannot publish it. And sometimes journalists cannot kill that story. They publishing what they gathered, and in result, usually we have a scandalous situation when people are reading the story and understanding that what a shit is it, like why this journalist made this work, like why he's blaming somebody don't having enough evidences. So it ruins your reputation also. So I strongly recommend you to kill the story if you don't have enough evidences. Otherwise, it will not help you in your career. Of course, the very important thing in working with an investigation is fact-checking before publishing and legal review when media lawyers are reading your investigation, your text, and can see what risks you may have if you will publish this story. Saying risks, I mean risks that you will be judged by some of heroes of the story, and you will fail in the court, and you will have problems. So while gathering information during the investigation, you need to gather it in a very proper way. Every single word you're publishing, you need to have proofs for it. Otherwise, you will have problems after the publication. Saying frankly, I had a few court processes after my investigations, but I always won them because I'm a very paranoid person, and I'm always gathering like many evidences before publishing. And if I failed, I would lose a lot of money because one of people who tried to judge me wanted me to pay more than $100,000, and of course to delay the investigation. But thank God, I won in this court process, and the investigation is still on the website. So before the publishing, we need to verify: do we have evidences to all facts we are announcing in our investigation? We need to understand all risks and to make a consultation with your media lawyers about what will you do if one or another hero or anti-hero will try to take you to the court. You need to understand what will you win? Do you have enough evidences to win in this process if it will happen? And of course, after you will get feedback from media lawyers, you need to take it very seriously because it's better not to risk that much if you don't want to have problems in the court, of course. And if fact check says, okay, everything is good, media lawyers saying, yes, we have all evidences, we will win no matter what, you also need to not to relax and be ready to fight with the editor about important facts that you have in your investigation. Because be kind to editors; they are not experts in your topic you choose, and sometimes they may not understand what evidences are more important and what evidences are less important in your text. You are the person who needs to explain to the editor that don't delete that few sentences, please, because this, and this. And of course, to make your investigation easier to read, you need to think even on the beginning about what illustrations will you have to your text. Because if you will only write the text, let's be clear, in the era of TikTok, no one will read your 8 pages text. you need to make a lot of interesting illustrations, photos, infographics, especially if you have many names and numbers. I usually make in my investigations with infographics, and that helps me to numbers and explaining all connections between companies. If we have 100 companies, it's impossible to explain in one sentence. So if you have a big amount of illustrations, it will make your story more easy to read and more interesting to look at. And of course, be very accurate with headlines, because also editors likes to make names of article more scandalous, and they are manipulating sometimes, but in result, the name of the article doesn't show the real topic. So you also need to look about this. So after the story was published, you again cannot relax, because usually your anti-heroes are trying to press on you, saying that I will take you to the court, or this is a very bad journalist, he is still did horrible work. So you will be under pressure, and feeling that pressure, you need to be ready to show even more facts that you gathered and published to the public. Usually I do this in my social media when after like negative reaction of anti-hero, I have counter arguments and showing more proofs and more documents to show them that I have enough information to prove that my hypothesis really works. So, and also you need to, I recommend to share your article, your topic, your text with the experts you were talking to during the interview. They also can share your investigation and also can help you to support you making public posts about how great work you really did, which will be also like contraposition to the position of your anti-heroes. Also, this is the last slide. I prepared you a few movies for inspiration, which shows how investigative journalists are working. You can just write it down or screenshot it, and in the evening, eating a popcorn and analyzing everything I told you, maybe you will think about the future opportunities in the investigative journalist career. So thank you for your attention. If you have some questions, we have few minutes only, but I will be happy to answer them.
I really loved your slides. It was really, it's taking me back to the, movie story. What was the theme of that movie? I was recalling them as well. So it was very interactive. Thank you so much for this. We do have questions, Ms. Divya, if you can
Yes.
forward it to, yes, please.
Sure. So, ma'am, some of the questions I'll be asking. So some of us are like the students of journalism. We are just starting our careers. And for example, we decided to do a story. So like, what would be some easy step that you would suggest we should do at the first timer?
You can choose a topic which is not super like huge. I don't recommend to start from cross-border investigations about money laundering, because it makes overwhelm you. You may be frightened because the amount of the investigation, it will demotivate you. So start from something simple, like even the topic with the road. It's a very simple topic. When you really see holes in the road, you can prove it, you can picture it, you easily can find people who are struggling, you easily find the company who did it, you easily can go to the mayor of the city. So this is a type of story which you can make very fast, and it's not that complicated. That is why if you will make few simple investigations, it will encourage you to make more and more and more. Then you will understand the logic of work, the scheme of work. It will be more easy for you. Believe me, the frames, like methods of gathering information, are not that big amount of those methods. If you are just practicing, you need to practice. You will understand how it works, and you can do any topic in the world.
The meeting. I win the meeting.
Nima, can you please mute yourself if you don't have any question? Okay. So my next question is, for example, I'm doing any particular story, and there is some link that someone has shared or posted in social media. The facts that he has posted are absolutely perfect, and it is fitting to the story that I'm investigating. But it is not a very authentic source. For example, someone has just created the account and posted it anonymously, and I'm not sure if the person is like an authentic person, or maybe someone who's anonymously post his independent work. So should I, like, how do I verify it? How I make sure that I am like doing the right thing and choosing the right information and putting it ahead?
If you see the information on anonymous social media account, I don't recommend you to use that information in the text of your investigation. You can take this information just for analysis, to ask about the information in this post in real people, like to ask them, did you hear about this, or what do you think about that? You see, but to use that information as a resource and as an argument, I would not recommend. It's very risky, and it easily can be a fake. I see the question in the chat. Just a second. Let's go there.
Atifa's question.
Just a second. How to ensure the credibility of information when conducting an investigation only through online sources? First of all, there are plenty of methods of how to fact check. For example, is the photo real, or is the video real or not, or it's a fake video made by OpenAI? You see, there are many resources for fact checking, a lot of which you can see in the databases, which I showed you in my presentation. That is why you don't need to be afraid of the information online, because you can fact check it by different instruments. Yes.
And we have some questions, like someone asking that what are some of the tips that you'll give us to improve our write-ups? Like, we are writing an article, and how to improve that with time. Like, what will be some simple tricks and strategies that we should follow or do?
Can you please repeat? The sound is not very good.
Okay. So I was asking, what are some of the practices that you would suggest us in terms of improving our write-ups?
Improving your what?
Write-ups, article writing or writing skills.
Oh my God, I don't hear these two last words. I'm sorry. Can you explain it in another way? My English is not perfect. That is why some words you are using, unfortunately, I don't know. That is why I'm confused.
So I was asking, how do we improve our writing skills? Like, how do we
to improve?
it? Yeah.
First of all, you need to write a lot. Your writing skills will not come until you will not start to write. You see, there are also plenty of trainings about storytelling, but my very simple advices are to write very simple, as you are talking to a student, to a person who is 14 years old. You're explaining to a person who is 14 years old. You're using very short sentences. You are not using extraordinary, unique terms, not to make somebody Google what does it mean. And if you will explain it in a simple way, and it will be more easy to understand what you want to tell. And of course, you need to find bright heroes and interesting stories for illustrating the problem that you have. If you will have bright characters, through the story of this character, of this situation, you can brightly explain, no matter how difficult topic is. I see on the chat there are some questions. Usually, how people profile individuals, like if I have to meet somewhere or to take interview for the first time, how should I know about him more? What are the common things that people investigate about people and judge either it will be an easy task or difficult? Of course, if this is person who usually gives interview, who is very public, it's much easier to gather information about this person because he tells about himself a lot. So you can see his behavior, especially on video interviews, so you can prognose how he'll behave with you. And also, just use Google. You need to Google as much as possible. Also to not ask questions on which this person already answered in previous interviews. So you need to ask unique questions. And if you will ask questions from other interviews, it means that you're not a very good journalist for the person you're asking the interview, you see? So just Google, go to the social media, monitor, and as much as you can gather information. And if, of course, you don't have, this person is not public at all, you need to understand. For example, I choose the role of Colombo, not to risk that much, not to show that I'm expert. And this role relaxes person, no matter what type of character it has. If this person is a dictatorship character, he will be totally relaxed when he will see that I'm so, I'm very, very simple journalist. I look at my eyes. And even if you will be lucky, if he will not be a dictator or like more open person, great, it will be even more easier. So Colombo style is my favorite one. Strongly recommend. Okay. Okay. What checks and balances are in place to ensure the integrity of investigative report? So about balance, when we are saying balance, it doesn't mean that amount of words in the investigative text that was saying that, for example, that company is bad, that the same amount of words we need to put that this company is good. Like when company says this, you see, it doesn't mean the amount of text. It means that we need just to show the position of another of this anti-hero, the amount of position which is enough, the text, the amount of the text which is enough to understand what does this company or person mean about those bad things which were said about this. This person even can say one sentence: "This is all lies," and that's it. If this person doesn't want to tell you anything, it doesn't mean that you need to, I don't know, find another 10 people to give you bigger text to balance minuses and pluses about this company. Okay. Investigative approach should be followed in every mode of our work as it shows reliability and validity. How can we make it our habit? If it's very good to be investigative journalist in your mind, because if you are a person like this, you will not be a loser in your life, because you will always ask question why it happens and who's guilty in it. For example, if you're not journalist, but you go to some government person or a doctor or administrative structure in your city, you want to do some stuff, some ordinary stuff with documents, and you know that people in that structure are corrupted, Before going to this meeting, you need to read the law which says about your rights. You see, if you're well informed about your rights, you already know what questions you may ask during this conversation. And you can mention during this conversation that this and this you are saying lies, and this is not correct. And if you have behavior like this, people will respect you much more, and they will be afraid to press on you, and they will be afraid to make you a fool. You see, I have a very great example of my husband, who is not investigative journalist, but after 9 years living with me, I think he would make great investigations if we, or the only one skill that he needs is storytelling. But right now, he thinks like investigative journalist. You need to be attentively to details, and because all details may give you some interesting explanations of what is going on. So with this mindset, I feel more secure. And that is why I think that the methods of investigative journalists, people who want to have the same feeling needs to know. Okay, I see this as the last question there. Thank you for attention. I was very happy to share my knowledge with you, and I hope it was useful for you. And I wish you, if you will make investigations, to become a great reporters, and to make me proud of that I talk to you someday. I was telling you and encouraging you to be this professional.
Thank you, ma'am. We enjoyed it really well, because I think you simplified every simple thing and give us everyday and examples so we could understand it in a better way. Thank you so much for having this wonderful webinar with us. We look forward to connect with you, and have a nice day.
You too. Bye.